turned around. It was like plastic bags, and I like slid on the bags. I'm looking at the blood, and then when I looked, I saw her legs. And then when I walked around the car, she had a bag over her head. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God. Then I heard somebody walking upstairs. And he was like coming down the stairs, and I looked and I just ran out the door.
Do you know the guy's name?
Yeah, his name is Willie.
On the evening of June 16th, 2010, a 28-year-old woman ran into the Palmdale Sheriff's Station in Los Angeles County. She was covered in blood. She told deputies her best friend had just been murdered in her own home. She said she had walked into the garage and found her on the floor with a bag over her head. She said she had seen the killer come down the stairs as she ran. She gave the police a name. She gave them a face.
And then I heard somebody walking upstairs. And he was like coming down the stairs, and I looked and I just ran out the door.
Do you know the guy's name?
Yeah, his name is Willie.
Before we get into today's story, this is Buzzed Crime. Drop a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss out on cases like this. LaNell Crystal Barsock was 29 years old. She was the third of 5 children. She was born and raised in the Los Angeles area. She had a mother named Bobby who was her best friend. She had siblings she was close to. She had a smile her family said could fill a room. LaNell was a licensed vocational nurse. She had worked her way through school in Long Beach. By the spring of 2010, she was working at a health center in Los Angeles and helping people every day. The kind of person who showed up at work and made everybody else's day a little better. LaNell had bought a 6-bedroom house in Palmdale. It sat about an hour and a half outside Los Angeles. She had big plans for it. She wanted to convert part of it into an in-home care facility for the elderly. She wanted to run her own business. She wanted to build something her family could be proud of. She had bought the house with her long-term boyfriend. His name was Louis Bonheur. LaNell had met Louis in 2005. He had just immigrated from Haiti. He was taking English language classes at the same school where LaNell was studying for her nursing certification. One evening after classes, she spotted him waiting at a bus stop. She offered him a ride home. That was how the relationship started. For 4 years, they built a life together. They moved in together. They bought the house. They talked about marriage. But by the spring of 2010, the relationship was struggling. Friends said they fought often. Money was part of it. LaNell was building a career. She had ambition. She had drive. She was already making more than Louis was. And Louis had a darker side most people didn't see. He was jealous. He read LaNell's text messages. He watched the parking lot at her job to see who she had lunch with. He called her employer to check that she had clocked in when she said she had. A few months before her death, sheriff's deputies had been called to the house for a domestic disturbance. No charges were filed, but the call was on the record. LaNell's own mother said that Louis had once chased LaNell in his truck after she told him she wanted to end the relationship. She said he tried to run her off the road, and he shattered the glass in her car. LaNell was already looking for a way out, and in the months she had met someone else. His name was Ike. He was a flight nurse. LaNell had met him online through a dating site called Fling.com. They had been seeing each other for about 4 months. She had kept a second cell phone just for him. But Louis found the phone. He found out about Ike. There was a fight. There was a long conversation. LaNell told Louis the affair was over. She told him she wanted to make the relationship work. But Louis didn't trust her. He kept checking the second phone. And on the morning of June 16, 2010, he noticed something on the phone that made him snap. Somebody had added new minutes to it. That morning, LaNell was at home with a woman she had introduced to her friends as her best friend of 10 years. Her name was Lorene Austin. She was 28 years old. She was doing LaNell's hair. Louis had planned to drive to Los Angeles that morning, too, to buy parts for his own truck. He was already on the road when he saw the activity on the phone. He turned around. He drove back to the house. He confronted LaNell about the minutes. The argument got heated. LaNell and Laureen left the house and drove to a beauty supply store. Louis followed them there. They argued again outside the store. Then they all went back to the house. According to Laureen, the argument picked up again. She said she felt uncomfortable. She told the couple they needed space.
So thick as fuck. I told her, I said, look, y'all have some issues and y'all need to talk and I don't want to be here.
She said she left around 1:30 in the afternoon and walked to a local park to wait it out. She said when she came back at around 6:30 in the evening, she walked into the garage and found LaNell on the floor. She slipped on the blood. She saw her friend's legs. She walked around the car. She saw the bag over her head. That was the story she told the deputies at the Palmdale Sheriff's Station that night. Covered in blood, out of breath, terrified. She told them she had heard a noise upstairs. She had seen Louis at the top of the stairs coming toward her. She had run from the house. She had driven straight to the station. The deputies were listening. A team of homicide detectives drove out to the house on Rocky Lane. They found LaNell exactly where Laureen said she would be, on the garage floor, on her back, a plastic bag over her head, stained towels and plastic sheeting around her body, the trunk of her BMW wide open, a pillow with a bullet hole straight through it sitting inside. The detectives looked at the scene and started building a picture. LaNell had been killed in the living room. Investigators could see the small spatter near the base of the wall. A single shell casing from a 9mm handgun was sitting on the couch. The carpet underneath where the spatter ended was suspiciously clean. Too clean. Then they found the area rug. It was stuffed into the back seat of LaNell's BMW, about 7 feet by 9 feet, pulled up from the living room floor. The discoloration ring on the carpet matched the rug exactly. There was a footprint on the rug. There were stains on it. Luminol traced the trail, from the living room, through the kitchen, to the garage. Whoever had killed LaNell had tried to clean up. They had moved her body. They had moved the rug. They had bagged up the bedding and stuffed it in the trunk. And then, they had stopped halfway through. They had run out of time. While forensic teams were still working the house, detectives drove to a neighborhood in Hawthorne to find Louis Bonheur. He was staying at LaNell's mother's house. Bobby had been close with both her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend. Louis worked a maintenance job in Hawthorne and sometimes stayed overnight at her place to save himself the commute back to Palmdale. The detectives sat him down. They asked him about LaNell. They asked him about their relationship. He told them everything was fine. He told them she loved him. He also had a fresh scratch on his cheek. He admitted LaNell had scratched him. He said they had argued recently, but no relationship was perfect, he said.
What's your girlfriend then? Yeah, it was. What happened to her? How you wouldn't know. You don't know? I need the house early to go fix my car. Tell me about your relationship. Happy? Yeah. Your relationship is good? Honest with you. Okay with her. Is she okay with you? She's okay with me. She's been telling me she's loving me all the time.
The detectives asked him where he had been that afternoon. He told them he had driven to Los Angeles to buy car parts. Then they told him what had happened to LaNell.
Someone shot her.
Oh my God, you serious? Where she is right now?
She's at the coroner's office, sir. She did not survive her wounds.
Really?
Really?
Oh my God, that's not right.
We understand that things happen.
That's not me, that's not me, that's not me. Why didn't do that? Oh my God.
Louis Bonheur was arrested that night. He was booked into the Los Angeles County Jail. He was charged with the murder of his girlfriend. While Louis sat in jail, detectives kept building their case. They wanted to lock him in. They started checking his story. He had told them he had been in Los Angeles buying car parts during the time LaNell was killed. He had given them the names of the stores. So they pulled the security footage from those stores. And there he was, on camera, buying car parts. exactly when LaNell was being shot in the head in her living room over an hour and a half away. The detectives pulled his cell phone records. The location data lined up. He had been on the highway driving from Palmdale to Los Angeles, right around the time of the murder. He had been in the city making purchases for the rest of the afternoon. The receipts were time-stamped. The cameras didn't lie. The phone tower data confirmed it. Louis Bonheur could not have killed LaNell. The detectives also checked Ike, the man LaNell had been seeing on the side, the man whose name was all over the case. Ike had been hours away that day interviewing for a job at the University of California at Davis. The interviewer confirmed he had been there for the entire afternoon. Both suspects were out. The detectives went back to the case file. They started looking at the only person left. When Laureen had come into the station that night covered in blood, the deputies had searched her handbag. In her purse, they found a bullet. She had told them she had picked it up off the ground near the house. She said in the chaos, she had forgotten to mention it. Then they found a second bullet, same caliber, also in her bag. She couldn't explain that one.
Sergeant that interviewed you earlier, as part of officer safety, because you have blood on you and you just came from a murder scene, you gotta make sure you don't have a gun in there that could shoot him. So he looked at your purse and he saw it.
Let me backtrack.
Yeah, think about it.
That came from where did it come?
Told you that there were 2 bullets in your purse.
2?
2.
I don't know how there's 2.
At the time, the detectives had taken it as confusion. Lauren was the grieving best friend. She had just walked into a murder scene. She wasn't thinking clearly. But now, with Louis cleared and Ike cleared, the detectives went back through everything. Laurenie had told them she had known LaNell for 10 years. She had told them they had gone to high school together. She had told them she had been LaNell's best friend. When the detectives checked it, none of that was true. Lauren had only known LaNell for a few weeks. They had met through Craigslist. LaNell had placed an ad in the personal section, "Women seeking women." Lorene had answered the ad. They had met up romantically a few times. The friendship of 10 years was a fabrication. The high school history was a fabrication. Laureen Austin was not who she said she was. The detectives kept pulling on the thread. Laureen was 29 years old. She was buried in debt. She lived at her mother's house. She had no steady job. Her only income came from hairdressing work she picked up on Craigslist. LaNell, by contrast, had a 6-bedroom house, a BMW, a nursing career, big screen televisions in every room, plans to start her own business. Laurenie had gotten a taste of that life, and she had wanted it. She had started telling people she met that her name was Crystal, LaNell's middle name. She had told people she drove a BMW. She had been impersonating LaNell on dates with other women. Then, 5 days before the murder, LaNell had sent her a text message. LaNell told Laureen she didn't want anything sexual between them anymore. She wanted to focus on Louis. She wanted to work on her relationship. She still wanted to be friends. She still wanted Lorraine to weave her hair. That was the rejection. That was the motive. The forensic results came back over the next several weeks. The bloody latex gloves found in the garage were tested for DNA. The DNA matched Laureen Austin. The thumbprint on the dark-colored pitcher in the kitchen, a print that suggested someone had moved the pitcher carefully out of the way, matched Laureen Austin. The footprint on the area rug stuffed into LaNell's BMW matched Laureen Austin. The state database was running checks for any gun registrations matching the shell casing. It took several weeks for the database to update because Laureen had only recently purchased the firearm. When it finally came through, it confirmed what the detectives already knew. Laureen Austin had purchased a 9mm Smith & Wesson handgun, the same caliber as the bullet that had killed LaNell. Then they tested the handwriting on the breakup letter, the letter from LaNell to Louis that had been found on the kitchen floor. The letter saying she was leaving him for Ike. the letter that had been the prosecution's whole case against Lewis from the start. LaNell had not written it. LaRenee Austin had. On the afternoon of June 16, 2010, LaRenee Austin had been sitting in LaNell's living room weaving her hair. LaNell had been sitting in front of her, facing the opposite wall. Laren had pulled a 9mm handgun out of her own bag. She had grabbed a pillow off the couch and used it as a makeshift silencer. She had pulled the trigger. She had shot LaNell once in the back of the head while she sat there with no idea what was coming. Then she had started cleaning up. She had pulled the area rug out from under the body. She had dragged LaNell into the garage. She had stuffed bedding and plastic sheeting into the trunk of LaNell's BMW. She had planned to load the body into the car and dump it somewhere in the surrounding desert. But she couldn't lift LaNell into the car. She wasn't strong enough. So she changed the plan. She wrote the breakup letter. She left it on the kitchen floor where it would be easily found, drove to the sheriff's station covered in blood, and handed the police a story that pointed at Louis Bonheur. It almost worked. By the time the lab results came back and the arrest warrant was being drawn up, Laren had caught wind that Louis had been cleared. She knew the police would be coming for her next. She ran. She left the country. She fled to Belize. For over a year, she was a free woman. In December of 2011, LaNell's story was featured on America's Most Wanted. A viewer recognized Larene's face. The FBI tracked her down in Belize in January of 2012. She was extradited back to the United States. She sat back down with the detectives. This time, she wasn't the helpful best friend. She was evasive. She complained that the press was portraying her unfairly. She insisted she had been LaNell's friend. She said she had loved her. The detectives had her DNA, her thumbprint, her shoe print, her gun registration, her handwriting. They had a 5-day-old text message from LaNell rejecting her romantically. They had her run to Belize. They had everything they needed.
How was my trip? And how did I end up there?
We're just curious more than anything else.
I went. Go on vacation, you know. Like normal people do. Go exploring.
What did it say?
What did it say?
What did it say?
Oh, what is it? Oh, that I
What
was
is it, the
plotting
budget?
on my friend
Oh.
for what? Financial support? Or something like that, or basically trying to mooch, and that I might be mooching on.
On August 13th, 2015, a Los Angeles jury found Laren Austin guilty of first-degree murder. They also found her guilty of using a handgun during the commission of a crime. She was sentenced to 50 years to life. She is currently incarcerated at the California Institution for Women. For Louis Bonheur, it took over a month behind bars before the truth came out. Over a month of being publicly named as the man who killed his girlfriend. Over a month of being blamed for a murder he had not committed. Over a month of grieving from inside a jail cell. He never got those 30+ days back. Today, he is married. He has a son. He has chosen not to hold on to anger over what happened. I got a lot of good people around me. I can see my wife, my son, a lot of siblings, my friends. It's a blessing from God. Bobby Barsock buried her daughter. She lost the child she had been closest to in the world. She lost the nurse who took care of everyone around her. She lost the woman who was supposed to run her own care facility and build her own legacy. LaNell Crystal Barsock was 29 years old. She was a daughter. She was a sister. She was a nurse who treated patients like family. She was a guardian angel to people who needed one.
She was a wonderful woman, very kind, very, very, very selfless, really open to sharing ideas. And she was all about empowering those around her.
She didn't need to help anybody else, but she did. Sounds like she really went out of her way to do that.
That is very correct. She was very selfless. I think whatever she did, it came from her heart. When I got to Los Angeles and started school, I didn't really have much money. Remember, it was close to my birthday, and she said, "Hey, let's go to the store." We go. She like, "Okay, what size are you?" I just told her, and she said she's picking shoes for her boyfriend. I didn't know she was buying shoes for me. I didn't even realize she was picking my size. She got 3 pairs of shoes, and when we left, she then says, "Happy birthday to you."
She bought you 3 pairs of shoes for your birthday.
That is correct. And I'm like, really? I mean, she said, "Yeah, it's your birthday." And I'm like, wow, thank you. I never had anybody offer me anything for my birthday. It was the first time I was receiving a gift.
What are you gonna miss most about her?
A smile. She was always happy, always smiling.
She did not see her killer coming because her killer was sitting behind her doing her hair. How many women have died because somebody close to them was obsessed and pretending to be someone they weren't? How many killers have walked free because the police listened to the wrong story first? The truth in this case was sitting in a handbag in the interview room the whole time. A second bullet that didn't match the first one's story. A friendship that wasn't really a friendship. A grieving best friend who was actually the woman who had pulled the trigger. Pay attention to the people who insert themselves into your tragedy. Watch the ones who arrive with the story already prepared. Sometimes the person crying the loudest is the one who did it. May LaNell Crystal Barsock rest in peace. If you or someone you love is experiencing domestic violence, stalking, or harassment, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24 hours a day at 1-800-799-7233. You can also text START to 88788. The call is free and confidential. If you found this case informative, make sure to subscribe for more in-depth true crime stories. New cases are uploaded regularly. And as always, stay aware, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next one.